Should we do a clap, just as usual, to make it easy for... That better not fucking in. Mate, if you want to...
German techno music.
Do you want to do some recording? It's really hard work and really stressful. Okay, should we do a clap, ready?
Hold on, making sure this is a movie recording. Yes, it is. Okay. Whatever. 3, 2, 1, clap.
Hey, if you thought vehicle compliance was sexy and interesting, then you've come to the right place. This is The Rock Show, a kind of down-the-pub chat about transport compliance and how it is good for us all. I'm Alan, the CEO.
And I'm John, Head of Compliance at Compliance Rocks.
And welcome to The Rock Show.
So, how you been, mate?
Yeah, I'm alright. Bank holiday weekend this weekend. It's always good to get a bit of different distance from work, doesn't it? And sort of bit of clarity of thought. I find that when we're so bogged down and doing stuff in the business, it's sometimes hard to see the wood for the trees, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. I must admit it was nice having a few days off. It was I found actually myself not really looking at my phone that much. It was just nice. I think I only turned the computer on once to do the quiz on Sunday.
Ugh,
it was nice. Did you get much done this weekend then around the house? Did you just chill, catch up on
sleep? Yeah, I got quite a lot of sleep done actually. Considering, I think Elodie knew this weekend was rest time, so yeah, she was up between like 8 and 8:30 most mornings, which was really nice. So meant that I had time. Yeah, so I could either have a lie-in, or I think I was yesterday morning. I got up at 7. I was like, I can't sleep, so I was just sitting downstairs. But I had a chance to just read, not look at my phone, listen to a bit of chilled out music, and just sort of have some me time. Sounds very camp when you say it like that, but I think
we listened to a bit of what's her name? Katie? Is it Katie Muller? Or her name?
It wasn't Katie Muller. It was Nora Jones actually. But yes, it was.
Same thing.
Yeah, so something that you would never choose to listen to album through and through, but it's something you have in the background as a sort of chilled out vibe. So that was good. Yeah, it was nice to have some time out. You got stuff done with the garden, didn't you?
I did. I spent a lot of time in the garden over the weekend. All the grass has been cut, all the the weeds, and did all the decking, did all the drive, which is really annoying because obviously it was really windy yesterday, wasn't it? And obviously my road is made famous by oak trees, and my entire decking and my entire driveway is full of oak seeds and leaves now.
Wonderful. So
yes,
that was a pointless sort of exercise in the end, but
yeah, the same as the drains around my I've got the drains around the porch in front of the house. Yeah, pulled all those out, tied all those up, and again everything's just full. So it's just like, thanks, Mother Nature.
It's like having a child and trying to keep your house clean after having a child, just constantly tidying. So,
but no, it was nice though. Oh, did I tell you we had a social distance street party?
Oh yeah, your VE day, didn't you?
Obviously, when I say social distance, people don't know that I live in a very small private road. There's only 6 houses, so it's not as though like it's a main road with hundreds of people. It was really nice. We brought sort of gazebos out and tables and chairs, and I played a bit of violin on the loudspeaker on the phone. Got a little portable speaker. Lots of cake. Sarah made a massive banana cake, like banana bread type of cake. So I think I put on weight on Friday.
Yeah, I must say, I got the scales out last night to go how much I put on over this period, and it's not nice. Don't do it. Don't do it yourself.
But it's like everyone's doing baking at the moment, and Sarah has like got a few simple recipes, and it's like we're making so much banana cake. She's really going to watch this and be like, I don't make so much banana cake, because we do, and Jackson and I demolish it.
Yeah. Mary's thing at the moment is her salted caramel and peanut butter brownies, which they just are to die for, but we have to get rid of them. We give them to neighbours. We literally open the door, the smell wafts out, and we're like, oh, okay, can I have some? So yeah, it's the only way I'm not fatter than I am is by getting rid of them. So yeah,
I'll get rid of them through my belly.
yeah. Well, when I pop around later, I could always bring some round. So
Good old brownie delivery service.
yeah, yeah. So I guess what I wanted to talk about this week in a random sort of way, being this is obviously our last episode of this series. I kind of wanted to carry on the theme of talking about stuff that we've done this week and how we can maybe implement those things into people's businesses. So this week I want to chat about goal setting. I think actually is it's a thing that we've done a little bit more research on this week and really kind of focus our efforts. And I think I'll say as of this morning, we obviously put some things in place for the team, and we'll see how well it goes. But had you ever heard of the term OKR prior to last week?
No. It sounds like a weird acronym for like a KO, like a knockout. Knocks right out.
Oh my god, knocked right out.
God, you sound like Boris Johnson and Vicky Pollard. You can go out, but you can't. Yes, you can. You can't go out, but you can go out. But you can cycle to work, but you got to work from home.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. I mean, yeah, but yeah, no. So obviously OKRs. I mean, can you remember what they even stand for?
No.
Seriously? Okay.
No, I can't.
Okay.
There's a lot in my brain at the moment, and I only hold so much.
Yeah. Well, I thought you might remember the presentation I did this morning, but anyway.
You didn't say what it meant, though. It's figures, numbers, operational.
Objectives and key results.
Yeah, that's fine. Can we edit this bit out? Then I go back. Objective key results. That's what it means, Alan.
Yeah. I really hope that Stu does edit that out, because that'd be far better. So it'd make you sound far more intelligent than you are. that was weird how in sync that was.
We're so alike, aren't we?
Unfortunately. Yeah, no, so OKRs is I guess being a startup, it's you get quite I do. I get quite distracted by shiny things. I think you're the same. It's like, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. And then we get kind of sidetracked and start going down a rabbit hole of ideas that actually don't always lead to following a core objective that we're trying to achieve. I think we're both guilty of that on multiple levels. So I think OKRs, I mean, I guess I can give a quick overview of what they are so our listeners and our viewers can get to grips with it. I'm not going to try and teach you how they all work, because fundamentally there's so many more in-depth and better written blogs and podcasts out there that I would advise you go and have a look at. So you just Google OKRs and you'll get loads of hits. But history came from a guy that took his knowledge from Intel to Google and implemented it in Google in the 90s, and then it sort of became a mantra and a way of thinking for all startups. So an objective is meant to be qualitative, so no numbers attached to it. So kind of have something that you can't measure. So what was one we've done this week? Improve customer satisfaction. So that's a nice objective. You want to try and improve customer satisfaction, but then you've got to look at how you're going to measure and how you're going to measure those results. How you're going to work out whether you achieve that goal or not. So setting your key results. So the objective is the qualitative statement, and obviously key results are your quantitative statements. So what have we set as for customer satisfaction this week, this month?
Keeping customer satisfaction at 100%.
Oh no, it was customer retention 100%, so we don't lose any customers.
Oh yeah.
95% customer satisfaction, and then I think it was referral rate at 10%. So those three things, if you measure those three things, it should hopefully, if you've got the key result targets right, those three things should help formulate a success of the objective. So if you hit those three things, you've hit it. And does that, I mean, as a concept, that's not particularly new to you, actually, though, is it?
But no, I think anyone that's worked for sort of big companies. I've worked for different size companies, small, medium, and large, and it's usually the larger companies have some form of, I don't think we've ever called it an OKR, but it's. I think people might get confused with the term KPIs and OKRs. Obviously, they are different things.
Yeah, I mean, a KPI or key performance indicator is just a measurement tool. It's just I don't know, keep accidents. It's not a target. It's you're doing a thing, and are you measuring that thing? So I mean, in our industry, we could kind of see like I don't know, keep reportable incidents down to. Or what is the amount of key reportable incidents you have on a monthly basis? That's a KPI.
Yeah.
So you're measuring that as an indicator of performance. So if you keep that at 0, it's clearly good. A KPI is not about changing KPI. It's not about changing behaviour. It's all about measuring. Whereas an OKR, it's all about making changes. I think that's the difference between the two.
And it's funny you said that about teaching behaviour, because again, I've worked for a few companies where I don't know. Okay, you've got to have so many sort of talks with people, or sort of let's just say you need to report something near hits. Let's just say that, and if you didn't hit that KPI, you are sometimes questioned. Why? Why is that? I'm using near hit as a really bad example, but why haven't you reached that? And it wasn't really behavioural at all. Sometimes. Again, it probably comes back. The last podcast we spoke a little bit about company culture, and it's funny how KPIs are supposed to improve, aren't they? It's a key performance indicator, but yet if you were beaten with a stick because you weren't meeting your KPI, fair enough. If you're a lazy so and so or inept at your job, that's different. But if there's other things going on, you're not meeting those KPIs. It's just a beating stick. As we're an OKR,
But I mean, an OKR sets you up to fail. I mean, we'll go into how to set them in a sec, because I think they are important to understand. They are meant to be stretch goals more for than not. But a KPI is just that. It's an indicator of performance. You're not meant to meet KPIs. You're meant to just do your job, and the KPI is a measurement of that. If you are falling underneath what should be appropriate for your level, then yes, obviously it becomes a metric for kind of giving feedback. An OKR is not used like that. So KPIs, very much so. If your job requires you to submit, I don't know, you're in accounts, and you've got to make sure you're submitting. On average, your account should be closed within, I don't know, 30 days. So getting invoices cleared within 30 days. If that your KPI is saying 95% of all your invoices are going to be cleared within 30 days. Yeah. Your job is about making sure that happens. That's your job. That 95% closure rate is the same every month.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna you would never set an OKR around that. So like some teams, OKRs become the main focus of the development of the team. So for example, us, we're using them massively. You're less so, because your customer success working with the clients right now is making sure that we're just meeting the standards every month. That's if we're not meeting those, that's bad, but we're not trying to improve those, because it's either you pass an audit or you fail an audit. Maintaining a pass rate of 100%, that shouldn't be an OKR, that's a KPI. And that's how we measure your performance. Whereas an OKR, you're one of improved customer satisfaction. Actually passing an audit is not the only thing that makes a customer satisfied. Using our system, that's something that makes them satisfied. Accessing data when they need it, making sure that the things we send them are useful and on time. It's all the frilly stuff around the outside for customer satisfaction, that actually passing an audit and helping someone pass an audit is only one small part of that. But yeah, KPIs are, so for you, it's quite a small part, and your OKR is a small part of your job role. But for me, my OKR this cycle is to get the Rocks Academy launched successfully.
Yeah.
That's going to be mostly my focus. But once it's launched, it won't be another OKR because it's launched. We need to grow our user base by 5%. That's no longer, that's just your job. That's just the job we're going to do. So if we say we want to grow our user base by 5%, that becomes a KPI.
Yeah.
That should be what we do every week. If we want to change that 5% to 10%, that's an OKR. Because that's making behavioural change with how we do things.
Yeah.
If we want to maintain something, that's got nothing to do with OKRs. I think that's the distinct difference. Is OKRs are all about innovation and changing how we do things and setting targets that are so much higher. I mean, what was the team response this morning to some of those targets? It was hilarious.
Yeah, some of them a bit scared, aren't they?
Yeah.
Already admitting defeat. Oh, I'm never going to do that.
And it's all about culture changing. I mean, we try and encourage people to fail. Like, we want people to make mistakes. The only way you're going to learn is if you make a mistake. So, setting up targets that... Yeah, so...
No, I was going to say, obviously, as our OKR is relatively new to us as a company, and obviously you said it's come from a sort of tech sort of startup, like you said, like Amazon and Google and places like that. Do you think OKRs, that term, exists in the transport industry at the moment?
I don't think the term does, but I definitely think it's something that the transport industry could utilise and formalise. Because I think, well, yeah, I think they can do. If you think of what our target audience, our target kind of client that we have, we know how they operate.
Yeah.
We know, for example, fuel efficiency is a great example. We know that's one of the things that you do every month for all our clients is analyse their fuel data. Now, if you said they've got to be hitting, let's take what's a 32-ton tipper, what, between 8 and 12 mpg?
Yeah, 8 and 10, 8 to 11, depending on the age. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say on average they're hitting 8.5 mpg. Their KPI would be, can they maintain that? That's got nothing to do with OKRs. If as a company they go, do you know what? We want to become more efficient. We want to become greener. So to become greener, we want to increase our MPG by 10%.
Yeah.
So that's key result 1. We want to reduce the number of tyres being replaced. That's key result 2. So reduce tyre replacement by 20%, whatever.
Yeah.
That's key result 2. And I don't know, looking at telematic data and kind of harsh braking and stuff, and reduce that number by X amount. They're 3 quantifiable things. If you do those 3 things, so obviously fuel data, increase MPG means they're more efficient, less CO2, less NOx going into the atmosphere, that's always good. Reducing tyre usage, I think people don't realise that tyres have a massive ecological impact. The reason they wear away, they're releasing particulate matter, so rubber, into the atmosphere. That is obviously not good. So reducing tyre wear by driving properly, by making sure they're inflated, all that sort of stuff. But maintaining a number has got nothing to do with OKRs, but reducing or increasing or making a change. And yeah, I think that's one. I mean, that literally was thought on the fly right there. I'm sure you being more experienced in the industry, you could think of hundreds of ways.
Oh yeah. There's always been KPIs, but I think we've already said the differences between OKRs and KPIs. And I'm saying within
you could reel off probably a dozen OKRs you could think of.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think I don't think, as far as I can tell, not many transport companies use OKRs. So hopefully, from watching this and getting an understanding, because I'm sure they've all got KPIs. And need to meet these targets. But if they knew about OKRs, as I said, the sky's the limits. They can start introducing improvements and actually understanding how it can make a difference to the company. It's funny you mentioned, going off sidetrack here slightly, about the tyres. So I subscribe to a newsletter about sort of energy and electric in the industry, and I think I told you about this ages ago, but they gave me another update on Saturday about these tyres that constantly renew themselves. Did I tell you about this?
I think you sent the article out. I must say I haven't had a chance to read it.
I've got an update.
Parks the idea.
Yeah, I'll try and find it. I've got an update. Basically, it's just like, they're looking at they were going to put it at the motor show this year, the Geneva Motor Show, something for cars, not for trucks at the moment. But they're made from like an organic sort of spider web, silk. And
cool.
So imagine like that's the wheel. Then it's got this sort of this liquid in the middle of the wheel. And it replenishes the outside, so it squirts it to the outside of the wheel. The wheel drives on the road, bits fall off, and it's like compost. It literally just disintegrates, goes back into the ground, and then when the tyre knows it falls off, and it squirts some more out, and it recoats the tyre, if that makes sense. So it's totally organic, sort of this silken material. So I find it quite interesting. So yeah.
I wonder how that affects performance of the tyre as well, though. Obviously, they must have thought of that. Because obviously, you can't necessarily make a tyre out of anything. It's got to have the same capability of grip and all that sort of stuff. So.
I'm just imagining a massive factory full of like tiny little spiders and whipping them. Get the silk out. So they go. Oh.
or something like that. Yes.
No pay.
Yeah. So again.
You have to pay them.
Yeah, I think I think that's really cool actually. I've not really. I must say I didn't look at the article when you sent it round. It was something that passed me by a little bit because it was when we were talking about tech in transport, wasn't it? And we kind of it got parked a little bit after we changed our direction a little bit. But yeah, no, I think that'd be an easy way if that was a product that you could introduce to the company. You go, I want to be more efficient. Well, let's look at changing our product choices over the next 6-week period and make those changes and see if they do make a difference to our efficiency level. So yeah, I think within the haulage industry, I would have thought the mindset might be there in some of the better companies out there of how can we make things better. But I think the implementation of a formal structure of how to do it, I think, is probably not maybe there in many companies at all. Because I think where we're a little bit different is because we cross-fertilise between industries. Me not having a transport background means that I don't think and operate like the average transport company. So I come from it with a different idea of how to do things. And so bringing in like OKRs is, unless you happen to read lots of blogs that I do, you wouldn't, as a transport organisation, you wouldn't necessarily find that stuff out.
No.
Unless, of course, you listen to this podcast and then you get some information like that. So there you go. Look at that cross-brand. I've been very anti kind of trying to spread the brand within the podcast and trying to do too much talking about kind of how to subscribe to us. But yeah, I think this being the last episode of the series, I'd quite like people to share and like and talk about it because it'd be good to get some more feedback on this, on the content, because not that we're running out of ideas, because I think we as our listeners could probably tell, week on week we pick the topic that we most talked about that week in the office and then just talk about that. So we're always going to have ideas, but it'd be really great to get kind of feedback from other people and see what people want to talk about. But yeah, back to OKRs.
So to anyone watching this that runs or works in a transport company, can you think then? Can we try and reel off some ideas of OKRs that they could easily implement?
Yeah, I'm sure we could do. Throw me under the bus there.
Well, no, because we've kind of reeled off some already, but I'm just thinking, so people get an understanding. Again, I keep reiterating, the KPIs versus they are different. So if some companies could watch this and go, yeah, do you know what? I kind of understand what an OKR is, but give me an example, and then tomorrow I can look to introduce that to my team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think improve efficiency, ecological efficiency, is one we've just used as an example. But another one, I don't know, reduce costs. I think is another one you could look at. So reduce the cost of operations to the business. So you could look at key results that you can measure. There is specific parts of the business, because obviously that's a big objective to reduce costs. We say we want to reduce overall cost by 10%, we want to reduce our cost on fuel by 10%, or we want to reduce, because the thing with an OKR is it doesn't tell you how to do something. And that's the fundamental thing. It doesn't tell you how we're going to do it. It just tells you what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. And how we're going to measure it. It's not so going back to the fuel efficiency ones, that we want to increase our MPG from 8.5 to 10. That is the OKR. How you do that? Well, that's where as a team you go about, well, what can we do structurally within the company to change that? Well, we could do some training. We could look at some impacts of how having a heavy foot makes a big difference. We can actually read some content, and we can look at the effects that the emissions are having on people. So we went to that conference up in Edinburgh, didn't we, a few months ago? And we got a huge amount of information out of that about kind of the effects that this environmental impact is having on humans. Because at the end of the day, most people don't really care about the environment. I personally do. My background in biology, I really do. But I think that the vast majority of people just go, well, yeah, it'd be good to save the polar bears, but I've got to put food on the table for the family. That's my important bit. Whereas if you look at how the environmental impacts have on the human body,
Yeah.
and how if you live next to a busy road, how you could. I mean, they one of the fantastic things we saw at the conference, if I remember, was they got schools involved, didn't they? They were putting air sensors around schools,
Look at the
and so the
particulate.
kids were, and the kids were then looking at the data and going, why is there a spike at about 2:30 by the entrance? I can't work out. And they went out at 2:30 and saw that all the parents were smoking next to the the door. And then they then went off as part of their curriculum. They then made a load of flyers going, please don't smoke near us. It gives us cancer. That sort of thing. So it's showing the human impact. I mean, that's smoking, not driving, but the fact remains that humanising that sort of environmental impact onto how it affects us may then make that difference how someone might drive.
It was right.
So that's got. Yeah, well, I mean, the whole trip to Scotland was fantastic in terms of that conference. I think it was really useful.
We're like going to Scotland for these conferences.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not the most environmentally friendly way of doing a conference. Obviously, driving up from London to Edinburgh to go to a conference.
That's a fair point.
But we did tie it with your client meetings, your partner meetings, and obviously.
And we went in a small car, and it was a small engine as well. It was a 1 litre.
Yeah, we hired a car to keep our emissions down. So yeah, we did the best we could. But yeah, I think. Have you seen the effect that lockdowns had on environmental impact? That's amazing.
Seeing all the news. Yeah, it's the views in Italy of the mountains overseas and all the cities, all the smog. It's incredible.
I mean, they can see Loch Ness now. Or Loch Ness Monster, anyway. Yeah.
That joke.
Dolphins in the Thames.
Dolphin in the Thames. Weren't they always there?
Well, exactly. Yeah, and unicorns on the farms. Yeah, it's amazing.
But it is amazing. I think the best pictures I've seen are, again, I don't know if these are real because I see them on social media, but the pictures of Venice. Yeah. All the waterways.
I think they're real.
They're so clear. Like the fish returning to them. And people are saying like the smell's starting to go. Obviously, it's not always. I've never been to Venice. I've always wanted to go, but a lot of people say, "Oh, it's quite smelly. The water's dirty," and they're just saying the water's so clear. It's incredible. Maybe we need to do this once a year.
Yeah, just it's self-enforced lockdown for 6 weeks. Yeah, it's exactly what we need. Bring the whole economy down to its knees. Definitely worth it.
That's what some people are calling for, though, aren't they? Some of the sort of the extreme far left and the people that I have to be careful what I say here. But some people are saying that they think it's great. They want to do this every year. I don't particularly agree with it. But
I just wonder how they're able to educate their children and get food on the table.
I think
do their job properly.
I think some of them that have feral children, I think they just let them sort of just go off, see you in a week's time, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think ideology is a wonderful thing, and I think it has been fantastic for the industry for the environment. But I think there's trying to balance how to run the country and get it back to its former self is it's a hard one. But I think going back to OKRs that transport companies could implement, I think you could look at changing it your view on compliance. Something we care about is actually, can we change the behaviour of our team to care more about compliance?
And how would you put a metric on that?
Well, caring about it means that therefore they'll make changes to it. So actually improving the meeting compliance KPIs. So it might be that a compliance KPI would be, keep your PCNs under whatever percent of drivers' hours a month or whatever. Now maintaining it's fine, but reducing it or increasing it, whichever way you think about it, is the way of making a change. And that's how you do it. So that could be an example of doing it for obviously compliance and stuff. More training. So I want to increase staff satisfaction. Driver satisfaction, I think, is a good one.
And retention.
Staff retention. Oh, that's a fantastic one, actually. Yeah, staff retention. Drivers, obviously, they vote with their feet, don't they?
Yep.
If they're not happy with the work conditions of a company, they'll just go somewhere else because there's a driver shortage. They are in demand. I mean, okay, let's ignore lockdown as at the moment, because I think that does sway things a little bit. But I mean, was it 60,000 drivers leave the industry a week? I think ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous number. It's such a lack of drivers. They have the ability to go round. So how, and the cost associated with keeping drivers hired, with hiring drivers, sorry, is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's high cost with recruitment. So how could we make staff retention? So improve staff. If on average you lose 20% of your drivers every month, we'll try and reduce that 20% down to 10%. It's not just about maintaining; it's about changing. So I think that's the difference. Is focusing on how can we change that. So, okay, let's reduce staff turnover down to 10%. Well, how? Then as a senior management, you can say, well, how would you? How would you? Let's give some examples. Actually, seeing we're talking about it, what would you do to make staff stay?
I think training is a massive one, because a lot of companies are just, you have to do the bare minimum, and that's all you're getting. But things like actually allowing drivers to release their full potential. You know, if they want to do, I don't know, their transport manager CPC, they want to help you and grow with you. That's a great thing. Not just sending them. You got to do the free. You got to do the there's so many units of CPC per 5 years, and just the minimum of e-learning, all this and that done. You actually get them involved and actually make them seem like you care about them and you want to better their future. Not this, oh, if I train you on this, you're just going to leave me. You know, help them.
I think I'm not going to be as eloquent as the phrase that I'm thinking of, but you'll get the drift. Is you train your staff so they can leave, you treat them so they want to stay. I think that, I don't think I'm as eloquent as the phrase that I'm trying to repeat, but yeah, you upskill your staff so they are able to go and get a better job elsewhere, but make the working conditions so good that they would go, why would I? I'd much rather stay here with a team that cares and where I can really release my potential. So yeah, I think training is a fantastic one. I mean, obviously, did you know I was a trainer?
No.
I know, yeah. So I mean, I'm obviously going to bang on about training as a positive. But what other things could you do to keep your staff? I mean, pay them more. Is money always the driving factor?
No, I personally don't think so. Because once you pay someone more, they'll want more. I don't know. I'm very stereotyping here, but I don't think I can quite explain it in the way I want to. But I don't think throwing you can relate it to normal life. Throwing money at a problem, it rarely fixes it.
Yeah. You need to look at the underlying reason why they're not happy.
Yeah.
Doing it for more money. I mean, we say as a startup, none of our team get paid what they should truly be paid. But why do they carry on doing it? What have we created? What are we sharing with? I mean, our vision that we share is pretty spectacular. I think
it's the vision we've shared with them, and it's a culture you and I have built. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because we generally. We say we rant and rave about this all the time, but we genuinely care about what we do. Like, really.
Yeah.
So I keep fidgeting because I haven't got a chair in here, so I'm standing against the wall. My back slides every now and again. So.
So I did a couple of episodes standing up. I was like, do you know what? I do a lot of time standing up. I might as well just sit down now.
Whereas I haven't got enough room to properly stand up. Because if I stand up, it's like, I've got to get consistent now, otherwise Dr. Mittens will tell me off.
Yeah.
But I think chucking money at staff isn't always. Obviously, you should always strive to pay them what they deserve and in line with the industry. And I'd love to get pay rise every year that go with the current climate. Everything else goes up. Why should my wage go up? But I understand it's not that easy. But if you really care, but if you build that culture and your employees really care about your brand and your company, they won't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously we both got wives that have recently been on mat leave, and sort of so Mary, my other half, she was on mat leave for a year from her previous company, and she went back and she's paid a good salary. I mean, she works in construction. She's a female under 30 at the time, and like she's quite sought after in the industry to do what she does, and she's actually very good at her job. Annoyingly, so she can drive a hard bargain, but she was being paid less than what she should have been paid for the job she was doing. But during mat leave, she's like, well, they've given me a year's mat leave and they treated me really well up to this point. My boss was awesome. I like where I am. Then she went back. Her boss had left when she left on mat leave. There was no handover. She then got thrown in the deep end with sites that she wasn't happy with. She had a 2-hour commute either way. To be honest, it was a 2-hour commute either way that really did it for her. She was like, I'm commuting for 2 hours when my commute prior to mat leave was 45 minutes. Why? I'm now going to spend more time on the tube with a baby at home that I want to spend more time with. It's just not on. And then she asked to do flexi time and part-time work. They're like, no, we don't want you to do part-time. So she's like, okay, fine, I'll quit.
Yeah.
So rather than having someone work 3 days like she could have done, they had someone working no days. That was good of them. And it was all because of the culture. They completely changed the way their culture was. Because I think you have a. It's not. She got an okay job. Don't worry. You look quite upset at this. Sorry.
So I was holding back a sneeze. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's really affecting.
You look like you look like you were tearing up. It's fine. She managed to get a 20% pay rise and went down to part time and has a 45-minute commute.
Oh,
so
thank God for that.
She's okay.
I'm fine now.
But
I'm happy.
But the point was the macro company culture changed, but the micro company culture of her team changed as well. Because I think you can be quite segregated and siloed in teams, especially in our industry. I think you can have operations and transport could be so separate in bigger organisations where transport is run by a transport manager and then the rest of the business is run by other people, and you can have a really great company culture there, but actually not so great as an overall company.
That's the proof.
So luckily, Mary managed to get a better job, better culture. She loves her boss. She's currently got great working from home hours all the time. And they pay her what she's worth, but she's like, I don't really care about the money. I'm respected for the job I do, and that's the thing that she really cares about. So I think that's the proof that's
proven. That's backed up what we were saying. So.
Yeah, so I think company culture is massively important.
Next season.
Next season we'll talk about company culture. So I guess that kind of brings OKRs to a close. We've done a lot of talking around the subject, I guess, but in summary, objectives and key results are something that we've put into our business as of this week, and we scared our team a little bit with them. They all cried out, no, I can't do it. But even if they only achieve 70% of what we set out to do, it's still further than they thought they could do it in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key thing, is setting these shoot for the moon stretch goals where everyone's like, no, I can't do that. I hear you cry. It's like, no, I want you to be like that, because if it strives you to push you further than you would do otherwise, then if it makes functional change within the team as well, the way you operate to try and achieve that, you made efficiencies that could roll out in the future. So I think OKRs are something that don't just sit within tech.
Yeah.
I think don't they sit within startups. I think they can sit within a company as wide-reaching as haulage as well as technology.
No,
so I think it's definitely useful for our listeners to hear about. Talk about our listeners. Not that we talk about them that much, really. We just wang on about what we want to talk about. But it'd be great to get some feedback from you guys. So if there's anything you think you want us to talk about more or less, or do you want us to have guests on? Do you have any topics you want to talk about? Do you want to improve the music intro? Change the intro and outro kind of takes? Do you want some more outtakes in there? Do you want some more fun stuff? Tell us what you want, because at the end of the day, this is a podcast for you, not for us. It's been quite vacuous up to this point, but we want to have some feedback. So please do email either me or John, or go to the website and kind of leave us something on the chat button there, or follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, link with us on LinkedIn, Alan Talbot, ALLEN, John Appleby. I mean, it's John, John. It's not hard to find him. And yeah, we'd love to connect with you guys and kind of see how we can improve this product, because again, it is for you, not for us. So, John, do you have anything to add?
Yes, so we are taking a pause. Obviously, as I've already said, there's 6 episodes in the season. So this is the 6th episode. We're going to take a small break between now and releasing the episode 1 of season 2. We are working on a few little projects which require more of our time. Obviously, Alan and I love doing these podcasts. Alan loves the sound of his own voice.
I do indeed. I can't get enough of it.
But obviously, we do enjoy doing these. It's obviously difficult for us both because we are, as everyone, still in lockdowns. We have to do it with wives running around with the babies. I hear my one screaming halfway through this podcast downstairs, throwing a tantrum. So I can't wait to go downstairs. But no, regular feedback would be great from everyone. As Anna said, if you can think of any subjects you want us to talk to, we really appreciate it. And we hope you enjoyed these episodes. As I said, the first couple might be rough around the edges. We're getting better as time goes. We'd like to think the last couple have been fantastic, because Alan allows me to talk now. He's let me out the cage.
Are you still talking? Sorry.
Yeah. Can I swear? No. But no, really, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it, listening or watching, however you're doing it. Do connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, even the emails are through the website. So yeah, no, thank you for listening, and we look forward to hearing from some of you, and we'll see you soon in the next season. So thanks.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. I'll speak to you guys soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Cool.